Hey garden fam, welcome back to The Sprout. Today we're talking about one of the most underrated shrubs for cold climates, Tatarian dogwood, also known as white dogwood or red twig dogwood. The botanical name is Cornus alba, and here's why you need this plant in your garden. In summer, it gives you green leaves, white flowers, and white berries. In fall, the leaves turn orange, red, and purple. And in winter, when almost nothing else in the garden has color, the stems of Tatarian dogwood turn bright red or yellow. Against white snow, it's absolutely stunning. This shrub is incredibly tough. It survives cold down to -40 degrees Fahrenheit. It tolerates wet soil, poor soil, and even some shade. It grows fast, 2 to 3 feet per year, and it's excellent for wildlife. Birds eat the berries, bees visit the flowers, and the dense branches provide shelter for small animals. If you want a low-maintenance shrub that gives you color every single season, Tatarian dogwood is for you. Before we dive in, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. We put out new gardening videos every week, and I don't want you to miss the next one. Also, drop a comment below. Do you have dogwood in your garden? Do you grow it for the winter stems? I'd love to hear about it. Now let's get into it. First, let's talk about what makes Tatarian dogwood special. There are several popular varieties. Cornus alba siberica has bright coral red stems. It's one of the most popular. Cornus alba elegantissima has variegated green and white leaves with red stems. It's beautiful even in summer. Cornus alba aurea has golden yellow leaves in summer. Cornus alba buds yellow has bright yellow stems in winter. All of them are cold-hardy, fast-growing, and low-maintenance. The main reason people grow them is for those colorful winter stems, but to get the best color, you need to prune them correctly. I'll show you how. Now, let's start with sun requirements. Tatarian dogwood grows best in full sun to partial shade. For the brightest winter stem color, give it full sun, at least 6 hours of direct sunlight every day. In too much shade, the stems will be greenish or dull, not bright red or yellow. The fall color will also be less vibrant, so find a sunny spot if you want that winter show. Now let's talk about soil. This is where Tatarian dogwood really shines. It tolerates almost any soil. Clay, sand, loam, wet, dry, acidic, alkaline, it doesn't care. The only thing it doesn't like is bone-dry, sandy soil for long periods. It actually prefers consistently moist soil. In fact, it's an excellent choice for rain gardens, low spots, or along streams and ponds. It can even tolerate occasional flooding. If you have heavy clay soil that stays wet, Tatarian dogwood is perfect. It grows best in slightly acidic to neutral soil, but it adapts to alkaline conditions too. Now let's talk about planting. The best time to plant Tatarian dogwood is spring or fall. Spring planting gives the roots time to establish before summer heat. Fall planting works well too, as long as you do it at least 6 weeks before the ground freezes. Dig a hole twice as wide as the root ball, but no deeper. The root ball should be level with or slightly above the soil surface. Backfill with soil, water thoroughly, and mulch. Space your plants according to their mature size. For a hedge, space them 3 to 5 feet apart. For individual specimens, give them 6 to 8 feet. Now let's talk about watering. Water regularly during the first year to help the roots establish. After that, Tatarian dogwood is fairly drought tolerant, but it looks best with consistent moisture. Water deeply once a week during dry spells. In wet soil, you don't need to water at all. This shrub is very forgiving. Now let's talk about fertilizing. Tatarian dogwood doesn't need much fertilizer. In fact, too much fertilizer will cause excessive soft growth and reduce winter stem color. In early spring, apply a thin layer of compost around the base of the plant. That's usually enough. If your soil is very poor, use a balanced, slow-release fertilizer like 10-10-10 once in spring. Do not fertilize after midsummer. Now let's talk about pruning. This is the most important part of Tatarian dogwood care. The brightest winter stem color is on young stems, 1 to 2 years old. Old stems turn gray and dull. So to keep those bright red or yellow stems, you need to prune regularly. Here's how. For the first 2 to 3 years after planting, don't prune. Let the shrub establish. After that, prune every year in late winter or early spring, before the new growth starts. You have two options. For the brightest color, cut the entire shrub back to about 6 to 12 inches from the ground every 2 to 3 years. This is called renewal pruning. The shrub will grow new stems that are brilliantly colored. It will also stay smaller and more compact. For a larger shrub, remove about 1/3 of the oldest, thickest stems each year. Cut them all the way to the ground. This keeps a mix of old and new stems. The shrub gets taller, but you still get good color. Whichever method you choose, don't be afraid to cut hard. Tatarian dogwood responds very well to heavy pruning. It will bounce back quickly. Now let's talk about common problems. Let's go through them one by one. Problem 1. Dull or green winter stems. This is almost always because you're not pruning enough. Old stems lose their color. Prune hard every 2 to 3 years to encourage new, bright stems. Problem 2. Leaf spot. Brown or black spots on leaves. This is common on dogwoods, especially in humid weather. It rarely kills the plant. Remove affected leaves in fall. Don't compost them. Improve air circulation by spacing plants properly. In severe cases, use a fungicide. Problem 3. Powdery mildew. White powder on leaves. Another common issue, especially in humid summers. Space plants for good airflow. Water at the base, not overhead. Remove affected leaves. Tatarian dogwood is more resistant to mildew than many other dogwoods, but it still gets it sometimes. Problem 4. Canker. Sunken discolored areas on stems. Prune out affected branches below the canker. Dispose of them. Don't compost. Keep the plant healthy with proper watering and mulching. Problem 5. Twig blight. Stems die back from the tips. Prune out dead wood. Improve air circulation. Avoid overhead watering. Problem 6. Aphids. Small insects on new growth. Spray them off with water. Use insecticidal soap for heavy infestations. Ladybugs are natural predators. Problem 7. Scale insects. Small brown bumps on stems. Can weaken the plant. Prune out heavily infested branches. Use horticultural oil in late winter when the plant is dormant. Problem 8. Dogwood borer. Larvae tunnel into stems. Signs are sawdust-like material at the base. Prune out affected branches. Keep the plant healthy. Borers attack stressed plants. Problem 9. Deer. Deer will eat the leaves and young stems. In deer-prone areas, use repellent or fencing. Tatarian dogwood is not their first choice, but they'll eat it if hungry. Problem 10. Root rot. Caused by overwatering or poorly draining soil, but Tatarian dogwood is very tolerant of wet soil. If you see wilting and yellow leaves in well-drained soil, you may be overwatering. Let the soil dry out. Here's where you come in. Drop a comment below. Do you grow Tatarian dogwood for winter color? What color stems do you have? Red or yellow? I'd love to know. Now let's talk about Tatarian dogwood in landscaping. There are so many ways to use this shrub. Planted as a specimen shrub in a mixed border, the variegated varieties like Elegantissima are beautiful all summer. Planted as a hedge or screen, it grows fast and dense. Planted along a stream or pond, it loves wet soil. Planted in a winter garden where you can see those bright stems against snow. Planted in groups of 3 or 5 for maximum impact. And don't forget to underplant it with early spring bulbs like crocuses or snowdrops. They'll bloom before the dogwood leaves out. Now let's talk about wildlife value. Tatarian dogwood is excellent for wildlife. The white flowers in spring attract bees and other pollinators. The white or bluish berries in summer are eaten by birds. Robins, cedar waxwings, and other songbirds love them. The dense branches provide shelter and nesting sites for small birds, and the winter stems don't provide food, but they do provide cover. If you want a wildlife-friendly garden, add Tatarian dogwood. Now let's talk about varieties. Here are some excellent choices. Cornus alba siberica has bright coral red stems. It's the classic. Cornus alba elegantissima has variegated white and green leaves and red stems. It's beautiful even without the winter color. Cornus alba buds yellow has bright yellow stems. It's a great contrast to red-stemmed varieties. Cornus alba aurea has golden yellow leaves in summer and red stems in winter. Cornus alba kesselringi has dark purple black stems and dark green leaves. It's dramatic. For the best winter display, plant a mix of red and yellow-stemmed varieties. Let me give you a few quick answers to common questions. How tall does Tatarian dogwood get? Usually 6 to 10 feet tall and wide. With regular hard pruning, you can keep it smaller. How fast does it grow? Fast, 2 to 3 feet per year. Does Tatarian dogwood produce flowers? Yes, small white clusters in late spring. Do the berries attract birds? Yes, birds love them. Can I grow Tatarian dogwood in a container? It's not ideal because of its size and cold hardiness needs. It's better in the ground. When is the best time to prune? Late winter or early spring, before new growth starts. How do I get the brightest winter color? Prune hard every 2 to 3 years. Young stems have the best color. Let's wrap everything up. Tatarian dogwood is one of the most versatile and rewarding shrubs for cold climates. It tolerates almost any soil, including wet clay. It grows fast, it's pest-resistant, it gives you flowers in spring, berries in summer, fall color, and stunning winter stems. Plant it in full sun for the brightest winter color. Water regularly during the first year. Prune hard every 2 to 3 years in late winter. Remove old stems to encourage bright young growth. Watch for leaf spot and powdery mildew, but don't worry too much. This is a tough plant. Here's the most important thing to remember. Tatarian dogwood is not fussy. You don't need perfect soil, you don't need perfect conditions, you don't need to baby it. Give it sun, give it water in the first year, and prune it hard every few years. That's it. In return, it will give you color in every season. And when the rest of your garden is gray and brown in winter, those bright red or yellow stems will remind you that spring is coming. Before you go, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and leave me a comment. Are you going to plant Tatarian dogwood for winter color? Red stems or yellow? I'd love to hear about it. Also, what shrub should I cover next? Red osier dogwood? Blood twig dogwood? Let me know. Thanks for watching. Take care of your garden and it will take care of you. See you in the next video.